Now, a negative emotion will conduct wrong meaning just as a lie necessarily will. Thinking wrongly from wrong ideas and illusions demands metanoia, a steady and resolute changing of the mind by means of new ideas. Feeling wrongly through negative emotions, identifying, and the self-love require much observation, constant personal work, and intelligent decision. There is nothing easier than to be negative. This leads to the possibility of these centers being able to bear higher voltages. You may be certain they will receive them once they have been prepared, if you like, on the principle that nature abhors a vacuum. And so the process will continue, stage by stage. There is and must be a transformer in the three-story house of our being. Although it will alter its ratio as we can receive more, I fancy we shall never be able to endure direct the high voltages of the influxes from the higher centers. In any case, all life depends on reception, for everything is reception. All nature is reception. But we are created to receive far more than the vibrations of light from the sun. Now, if all that this oneself in us does not include is gradually brought into consciousness, our reception is correspondingly increased. The oneself that each person is clinging to at this moment, without quite realizing it, gives place to a wider self, which eventually becomes the self. The narrow, oversensitive bundle of pride, prejudice, vanity, illusions and wrong attitudes which make up the oneself disappears. The self emerges as a picture that has been restored by cleaning. The capacity of reception is then greatly increased, that is, much more influx from higher centers is received. But the former feeling of oneself is, of course, lost, for one is no longer the same artificial person that one clung to and suffered from as one's true self. Not only this, the previous oneself now has no power over you. You notice the process by not minding everything so much. This means the sensitive bundle of things you thought was yourself is merging into the rest of yourself and losing its outline. Now the work teaches that we have a soul, but that it is small and must be developed so that it includes far more than it does. As the undeveloped soul is, we are taught, it is nothing more than a shifting point of the most intense and violent identification. In a word, where you are most identified, there is your soul. The development of the soul is by a widening of it. You will at once see a connection here with the widening of this oneself which possesses us as we are, but ceases to do so when it fades into the total self. We can therefore take it that the phrase, "In patience ye shall possess your souls," has nothing to do with the meaning usually attributed to it. People think it means that we must possess our souls in patience. It means nothing of the kind and is merely one example of the degradation of meaning of every esoteric remark in the New Testament. Its point is that as we are, we do not possess our souls, but our souls possess us, and only through long patient work can we possess them, and the nature of that patient work is what we have been studying, namely the increasing of the consciousness of oneself, which leads to the emergence of the broad self, as distinguished from the narrow oneself or pseudo-self. Later we will make further reflections on the identity of the developed soul and the self and the resulting increase of reception of the vibrations from higher centers. Maurice Nicoll.